Welcome to 52 Authors, 52 Weeks, Season 3. I'm Dr. Lisa L. Campbell, the Growth Motivator. Each week, I sit down with a different author to explore what lies behind the pages. Growth, purpose, finding your voice. Enjoy today's episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode of 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. We're in the midst of year 3 of this video podcast. And today I find myself virtually connecting with the author of Living with Purpose and Power, Create Your Guiding Stars, and Live Your Ultimate Life. Author, among many things, Kellan Fluckiger. Did I say it right?
Flukiger. Close enough. Flukiger. That's all right.
Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show. Please tell our listening, viewing audience a little bit about you.
So I didn't start writing books until I was 52, which is what you just told me a little bit about. And I've written now 22, and I have 2 more planned for next year. And they all come from the same thing. They all come from a journey that started for me when I was 52, when I realized that the ladder I had been climbing and the dreams I had been chasing my whole life weren't mine. They didn't make me happy, and they had led me to various levels of disaster, from small disaster to life-threatening disaster. And I woke up one day, had a divine intervention when I was 52, and said, I'm going to just do something completely different. This isn't what I was meant to do. So I walked away from a 30-year career and started life over again. And the divine intervention was really that. It interrupted a life that looked very successful on the outside from a corporate perspective. But behind the scenes, I was a disaster with personal tragedy everywhere. And, on one side, it looked like, wow. And on the other side, it was, whoa, that sort of thing, like movie stuff. And I just started over, and I had no idea where it was going to go. But as I started healing and doing, making changes in my life, I realized all the experiences and learning that I was doing could be valuable for others. And that's what drove me to start writing books and to begin to explore, quote, helping others, and decided eventually that was coaching. And so I now coach and with clients around the world, and I write books and music and all kinds of things that support that, because my vision this year is to help 300 million people learn their worth, identity, possibility, ownership, and sovereignty, WIPOS, and use that to create the life they want and literally live that ultimate life. It's just not some airy-fairy crap that you say. It's real.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So, a couple of things. Number one, I think I mentioned to you before we started recording that October 2025, my grandfather died at the age of 104, which means he was 52 when I was born. I was 52 when he died. You were 52 when you reimagined yourself. And we're on 52 Authors, 52 Weeks.
We are 52s all over the place. So what a magic number.
It is. I'm going to have to see what I can do with that number, because I just have confirmation that that's our number.
It is beautiful.
It is. So one of the things that I really want to explore with you today, your book centers around helping the reader live with purpose. And I believe you mentioned this. It was at age 52, when you had all of these life tragedies, that you realized that you weren't you were no longer in alignment with your purpose that for life, that the where you were was gonna potentially cause you to leave this earth before you were supposed to.
Yeah. So there's no question about that, and it's not an uncommon scenario. We get brought up a certain way. We get told this is success, this is what you do, this is what you chase, this is going to make you happy, and not knowing better, we buy into it. We just do that, and I did that and did not what I wanted to do, not what I felt my true gifts and talents were, but what I was supposed to do, and that conflict inside got worse and worse and manifested itself in eventually pretty ugly ways, like addictions and a couple of suicide attempts and some pretty serious things. And when I had a divine intervention and a couple of experiences when I was 52, again, it was a wake up call. It didn't fix my life, but it made me realize uh, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going somewhere else, and it ain't that. And I wasn't sure where the road was going, but I knew that I was going to discover, I was gonna heal myself because 'cause I'd broken myself 6 ways to Sunday, and I needed to do a lot of work on that, and so I would be in a place to identify and then pursue what I really felt like I could do that added the most good to the world. See, it's not just about finding a purpose. "Ooh, I wanna X." We're divine beings, all of us. We're built to love and serve each other. And when we get off that path and start doing other stuff, chasing, money and all the stuff we're told, you might get it. I did. And it was not happy. It was empty. And so it was a choice of, I'm not doing that. I don't know where this is going. I'm not that. And as I went down this road of both healing and changing who I was being, then I started to find the things that were calling me to add good to the world in my unique way with my own gifts, my own life experience, that kind of thing. And that's been what I've been doing for the last now since 2007 to today, 18 years.
Wow. I know for me, and just everything that you said about what you went through. First, let me just say this. As a man, I'm so happy to hear you acknowledge what you were dealing with and how you were able to pull yourself out, because I grew up with a father, a grandfather that aunts, uncles. I never saw them show any emotions until they did. And so I think a lot of times men hold in all the things that they're feeling. And for me, when my life started feeling heavy, the first thing that left was the joy that I had originally felt. And I was in a place where I felt like I was the lowest point in life, even though I was doing all the things, but I lost my joy. So now, 18 years later, after you've totally left corporate America, that's corporate America is so overrated.
Yes, yes, it is soul sucking monstrosity.
It is. So after going through that, how do you continue to protect your joy? Because I imagine during that time period when you started to pivot, life for you was very heavy.
It was to start with. Then it became very empty because I just literally did the jump off the cliff and build your parachute on the way down thing. Like I walked away from millions of dollars of contracts and I just walked away without knowing exactly what I was going to do. I knew that I had a lot of healing to do because I had, addictions and other things that I had to address. And then I had to address the underlying causes, like why did I end up here? What's going on in me that I ended up here? And it had a lot to do with my upbringing, and I'd been struggling with depression untreated and not having acknowledged the feelings that you talk about because, in the years and decades even that I grew up, you didn't talk about that stuff. It was not okay. It was, suck it up, you'll be fine, all that sort of stuff. you didn't talk about it, and you didn't acknowledge it, and that's unhealthy. In fact, it's downright destructive. And so I had to learn to do that when I first started to go see counselors and things like that. I didn't even know how to talk. I didn't even know how to tell the truth.
Mm.
I was so used to being in charge of everything that I didn't know how to just tell them something and then shut up and listen. Like, I didn't know how to do any of that, and so I had to learn all that, and as that went along, so that's what led me to start writing books. As I started getting better, I realized, wow, this all this stuff that's changing in me, who I am, what I'm supposed to do, why I'm here, what makes me happy, what real joy is, as opposed to external accomplishment. That's when I started feeling like, wow, I this could really help other people. And so that feeling, and it comes to everyone that goes through bad stuff, and they start overcoming that because of, our divinity and then our nature. We're built to love and serve. So then that starts coming up. Wow, who can I help? So that's when I started writing. And I wasn't a writer before that and have written all these books. Every one of them is from a piece of that journey. I wrote a book on forgiveness and a book on fear, and all kinds of different books, but they're all a reflection of what I learned dealing with my own monsters and becoming healthy and whole and getting to a place of absolute joy. Before we started talking, I said I call it the ultimate life, which is purpose, prosperity, and joy. And people don't believe me. I don't do one single thing I don't want to do. I love every minute of my life, every single day, without exception.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I feel like even though I'm a woman, I'm the younger version of you because I literally have stopped saying yes to everything. And then sometimes, let's say I'm volunteering on this committee. If I feel myself getting to a point where I'm overwhelmed, I'm okay with saying, at this point, I need to step back because I need to take care of me.
Mhm.
As opposed to physically be there, but not mentally there, I remove myself so that they can move forward without me, holding them back. And a lot of people are afraid to do that. It's almost like a sign of weakness when you want to pull out from something, but it's not. It shows how strong you are.
I always ask clients if they have any obligations. And if they say I do, they say, everybody says, well, of course I have obligations. And then I tell them I don't have any. And then they think I'm being silly. And it's about what words mean. If I have an obligation, I have to do this. Obligation almost always carries with it the seeds of resentment, meaning I'd rather be doing something else, but I have to do this. And so what I invite people to do is empty your calendar so there's nothing on it, and then only put the things back that you're committed to doing. And by committed, I mean you choose intentionally, joyfully to do that thing. Now you may put many of those same things back, but the idea is either either get out of it, quit doing it, or change how you think about it. Own it, lean into it, choose to do it with fierce ownership and radical excellence instead of carrying the weight of an obligation. And if you can't do that, then quit doing it.
Oh my gosh. Again, we never met each other.
No.
But everything that you are saying speaks to A, what I believe, B, what I've been doing. And I've been really, it was tugging at me for a while about what I was supposed to do when I quit my full time job because I felt like I was being held hostage.
Mhm.
I realized that everything that I had gone through in life positioned me to help others achieve growth by releasing what no longer serves them. But it took me to get to a point in my life where I felt like I had lost control of everything. During that time period, I know I wasn't a nice person to my husband, right? I wasn't treating him with kindness, and everything that went wrong, I blamed him for it, when in actuality, it was me taking on all these things, thinking I needed to be superwoman when I really needed to just be with the schedule that I have today, which is I only take meetings from 12 to 5. I go to water aerobics at 10 o'clock. That's that schedule has allowed me to operate at the happiest that I've ever been my entire life, because I took control of my life so that I could live with purpose and power.
Well, you held that book up, and it's funny. I didn't remember that's what we were talking about, but I put it on the top of the stack of books because I always have a stack of all my books there. And I went through them and I thought, I wonder what we're going to talk about today. And I decided that one should be on top. So there we go. Um, since 2007, these 18 years, two things have been the most important things that I've done. And the book, Living with Purpose and Power, is about those two things. One is to make a conscious choice and then what I call a declaration. I have a document called a PTAC, Personal Truth and Commitment document, which is simply my agreement with the universe. You don't need anyone's permission or anyone's agreement. This is what you declare that you are. And I ask people often, well, do you have some kind of a document or thing? And then they'll remember that somewhere when they went to some event somewhere, or after they read some book, they wrote something. And yeah, just a minute, and they'll find, yeah, I am a conscious, loving, and they'll say some stuff, right? And then I ask them, okay, cool. If you look in the mirror and say that to yourself, does it make you weep? And then, yeah, you can tell by the silence, the answer is no. Then I'll say, if what you have declared in your document doesn't light the walls on fire and make you weep, throw it away and start over because you haven't said anything yet. So creating that kind of a declaration, a personal truth document, which is partly what that book's about. And the second thing is, okay, cool. Now you have this monster soul-searing document that lights you up every time you touch it. How do you turn that into your life every day? How do you make sure that every day, every moment, every hour of your life lines up with that? And that's the second thing, which is called a daily creation process. And sometimes people call it a morning ritual or morning routine. And I don't use those words on purpose because they're too cliche. But it is an intentional process that I do every single day without skipping, no questions, where I create myself in line with the document that I wrote that needed nobody's permission and no one's agreement. And that way, every conversation I have, talking to you, talking to the others that I've taught some classes today and other, I meet every one of those things exactly as I declare myself to be all the time. So that's what the book is about. It's about what that means and how to do that for yourself.
So is this process that you are referring to, is this what you mean by creating your guiding stars?
Well, the guiding stars, like I have several documents now that I've created over the years, and I have nearly all of them memorized. Like it's a couple thousand words, and I recite them to myself every day as I'm stretching and working out. And I do that not to be weird and not to tick some box, but to remind me who I am, to own it one more time, to taste it, to feel it. And so those documents are your guiding stars. And the only place I've ever shared those in all the books that I've written are in that book. And the reason that I did is not because that's the right way to do it, because it's not. It is the way I did it, but I want people to understand what I'm talking about because I talk about it in the abstract. And then when I start to quote my document to somebody and I get about halfway through one page, they're like, wow, I didn't know you meant like that. Like, wow. And that's the point. Okay, those are your guiding stars. And that's what you do every day. Because it's like, can you imagine an Olympic athlete warming up after the event? Like, why wouldn't you create yourself? Well, I can't. I don't have time in the morning. So you're going to do your whole day half-assed, and then you're going to do your stuff at night. Like, what? Oh, yeah, that's real good. So, of course, it's in the morning, and that's the guiding stars. And then the daily creation process is a way, and I describe it in the book. How do you do something with yourself every morning so that you are that? You've written down who you are and what you want to be. Okay. Like, I agree. Nobody has to agree with you. If that's what you say, then so be it. But what do you do to make sure that you live true to what you have declared? And that's the daily creation process. So the daily creation process includes the guiding stars. They are the text and the substance because you wrote them. You said that. And I tell people often the most powerful words in the language are not "I love you" or any of that stuff. Those are beautiful. The most powerful words are "because I said so." And that's all there is. And I don't mean because I said so, but I mean, thus I have spoken. I have declared. And that's all that it needs to be. Your agreement with you and your creator. Period.
So this really is this self-discovery experience where you are I'm not going to say training, you're retraining your entire life.
That's right.
So there are so many books out there about, oh, do this at 5 a.m., the morning routine. And I have them all over here on the bookshelf. But one of the things that I realized, number one, 5 a.m., I'm still asleep. And so my ritual includes my 10 a.m. exercise, my 8 a.m. meditation, all the things that I do
That's right.
to help keep Lisa grounded for the day.
That's right.
And that's essentially what you're saying is you are writing what the day is going to be about. Not then the day is not going to evolve for you. You set the
100%.
tone.
You decide who you're going to be. And I ask people, how do you add good to the world? Like we are, and I make no bones about it. We're divine beings. You are given gifts and talents. You and I, we each have a mission and purpose, and we can do it or not do it. But if you want to be the happiest and get that feeling that you thought you were going to get when you chased all the money and position, you thought you were doing that for a reason because you're going to be happy. Yeah. No, if you want that, then you declare who you are because you said so. And then you create a way that works for you to get you to that place every day so that everyone that touches your space and your spirit feels the truth of your being.
Your authenticity,
Yeah.
not the mask that you were putting on, but the true version of yourself. I think that's where a lot of people struggle. They are afraid to walk in their true purpose. And I think part of it is so accustomed to being that version of themselves. Well, my husband says this all the time. I'm 52 years old and I am who I am. And that's it. But there's another, I believe there's another version of him that could morph, that can make him even more happier than he is today. But
Let's say there is. Let's say there is. He's not going to find it until he wants it.
yes, yes. And I have to, what's the word? I was thinking of this TV show from back in the day. The man said Edith, he told her to be quiet. I can't think of what that show is. Archie Bunker. So I really
Oh,
you
all in the family. All in the
yes.
family. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I really try every day to, because he says, you're always psychoanalyzing me and this and this and that. So I try very hard every day not to try to push him to live a different life with purpose and just allow him to live the life he's living until he gets to that point where he wants to shift. Because it's beautiful over here. Let me just tell you, this is the best ever. I have, after quitting my job, I have peace that you can't pay for. And it
I
doesn't
believe you.
matter that I have bills and all of that. I'm happy.
I believe you 100%. And the only thing we can do is love and invite. We can love and invite. And here's the thing, like we all are wearing lenses, and the lenses we have, I wrote another book called The Book of Context, and it's talks about the context straitjacket we live in. BD, beliefs, definitions, experiences, expectations, and perceptions. That's how we see life. And until we take off the lenses or we realize that we're even wearing them and that there's another way to look at things, like we don't even know that. And it's like a fish can't see the water. You have to either decide or something happens or whatever to wake up and say, there is another way to look at this. And you might be able to see it for me or for your husband or for anyone. And the best we can do is remember our own journey and to love them as they are, and then love and invite. And that's it.
I love it. Love and invite. So listen, we are almost out of time, but you've done so much. I want to know what's next.
Well, I finished a book that launched 2 weeks ago called Coaching and the Rise of AI. So, my experience and my expectation is that by Christmas of next year, 13 months, 95% of coaches today will be out of work. They won't be able to make a living. And the reason is because AI is getting so good at doing 95% of today what passes for coaching, which is systems and methods and questions and frameworks and stuff. AI is going to already blows everybody out of the water on that. So what I did is I did an analysis of 11 different coaching models and pointed out a bunch of stuff. And then I proposed a new coaching model that says this is one that cannot be duplicated and cannot be replaced by AI. And it was funny because part of the analysis was with ChatGPT helping me do the analysis. And I said, okay, fine. Here's a new model. It works like this, looks like this. So analyze it the same way you did the others and don't be nice. And it had rated all of them low, medium, and high vulnerability. And it came back and said zero vulnerability. And so after it showed me all the things that it did, and I said, okay, fine. I was frustrated. And I said, so what can't you do? What do you suck at? To the machine. And it came back and said a bunch of stuff that was really good, but it said one thing that just hit me in the heart. And it said, I can't bleed. Okay. So anyway, there's that book, Coaching and the Rise of AI, which is about that. The next book that is written, and it'll come out in January, is called Masterpiece. Seize the Day, Live Your Purpose, and Change the World. And so it's about helping people identify their true calling and purpose, and then how to change the world with that. And then I have two others that are coming that I'm got partly outlined that'll be for next year. And like I said, all of them just come from life experience.
Wow. You are cranking out these books. I've been working on the same book for about 3 years. Um, but it's a book where I set out not to write a book, but to really heal and
Mhm,
heal myself. And in turn, I realize how it can help others heal.
mhm.
And so you have put some fire under me because if you can crank out all these books in a couple of months, a year or so, I need to put some fire underneath me to get this one finished next year, which is my plan. Which is my plan. I'm not trying to make it perfect, but I do want it to be impactful. That's my number one goal.
The most important thing, Lisa, that I think you or me or any of us have isn't something we learn to do, which is like that thing over there. It is the story of our own becoming.
Hmm.
That is the most powerful, authentic, meaningful gift that we have because everything else we teach is something we learn to do. And it's like that thing over there. The story of our own becoming is our lived experience. And so that is authority, it is authentic, and it is powerful.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely have to get your new book because I'm nosy, so I want to read all about the models. I'm glad that I'm not the only one that has a whole conversation, a whole relationship with ChatGPT, because I am very quick to tell ChatGPT, no, that's not what I meant. And you didn't do that right. So I'm like,
Absolutely.
for my $20 a month, I got a whole thing going on.
Good. No, you're not the only one. I've trained
Absolutely.
I got a thread called 1,000,000 words, and I didn't know what it was gonna be, but I put all my books and a bunch of podcasts and a whole bunch of stuff in there. After a while, it came back and said, yeah, that's more like 4,500,000 words." Yeah, but and so it sounds like me, it talks like me, it quotes my own books at me and all kinds of stuff.
It's definitely a great companion to have, right? It's
Eh,
sped up a lot of processes.
no question.
All right. Well, listen, we are out of time. I am so honored that I had an opportunity to meet a gentleman of your caliber. You've done so many things. I'm so um, proud of the progress that you've made and how you're living with purpose, and it you can tell it from the inside out, right? It's not just something that you are writing about, it's something that shows, and that makes a big difference. I wonder what the corporate version of you looked like. Probably very and very like
I was really good at what I did, but, it's really embarrassing to think about some of the things that I did and who I was at the time. So, you wouldn't recognize me 20 years ago. 20 years ago was a completely different person.
Well, I'm happy for the person that you have become and becoming, because I know that you're not done yet. It's going to be 10 years from now. I'm going to be like, I interviewed him in 2026 for 52 authors, 52 weeks. And for me, this journey has been so rewarding because I get to meet all of you, hear your stories. We get to tell the world that whatever they're going through, they're not alone, but we have some resources to help you navigate whatever it is that you're dealing with.
Absolutely. I can't be done without saying what I said earlier. I wanna honor you and the effort you're putting into this because doing a podcast or a show of any kind is a labor of love, and so I just have to acknowledge the work and the effort that you're doing to add good to the world, so thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, listen, everyone, this has been another amazing episode of 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. Uh oh. Now I forgot how to pronounce your name. Just call it a brain fog. Brain fog. Say your name for me one more time.
Kellan Fluckiger.
Flukiger. All right.
Yeah,
Author of Living with Purpose and Power. Create your guiding stars and live your ultimate life, your best life now, not later, now, because tomorrow is not promised to any of us.
that's right.
All right, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next week. You've just experienced another conversation from 52 Authors, 52 Weeks, Season 3. The conversation may pause here, but the growth continues. I'm Dr. Lisa L. Campbell, the Growth Motivator, and I'll see you next week.